Let's talk about one of my favourite champions, and that is Warlock. Now, if you've seen some of my recent content, you know I've been using this champion a lot more. I absolutely love it. I think that the rank 2 is brilliant, the 6-star rank 2 I've got, but my 565 5-star awakened version, well, 565 is 5-star, you get what I mean by that. I think he's the business. The reason being, and the reason that I've awakened him, because it's a bit of a debatable thing whether or not an awakened version is actually worth it. If you have masteries, the suicide masteries in particular, a lot of players would go, well, there's not really much point, especially the damage output can be like very, very effective, especially for the setup. Now, I'm not a massive fan of suicide masteries unless I'm alliance free and unless I've kind of got a lot of the champions that cycle well with suicide masteries. Robots, Ghost, Black Widow Clairvoyant, the list goes on. There's so many different ones there. Omega Red, I mean, you all know the list. If you don't, maybe it's an idea for a video. But I really enjoy Warlock with just standard masteries and as well with having the awakened ability. Now for me, the only reason that I like having this champion this way, as I said, I don't run suicide masteries, and as well I want to, when I infect enemies and when I do SP1s and power drain, because that's the point we're getting to here, is when I power drain, as it says there, when opponent's power is drained or burned, you do some degen damage. Now with the addition of dual class crystals, especially the tech ones, tech/cosmic ones, there's more of a chance of picking up this champion more times, and as well more times of getting signature stones. Command have added in more abilities to grab them from the solo events, right the way through to monthly events, right the way through to side events. Not this month though, but there's still an option there. It's really cool as well to see the scalable damage, and there's a quite substantial amount. If you're good at rotating your champion to do the likes of power drain and power burning, then you can get upwards of a 200 signature champion of 862.88 direct damage over 2 seconds. So that could be really effective for you for damage output, especially if you run this champion with a good synergy group. And it's actually a really nice combination of teams, especially if you're going to run something with Magic, with Sunspot, with Magneto, with Domino, and as well with any of the robots. You can really put together a nice, well-structured team on various classes, which is a good thing in any case, but as well with maximizing damage output. And yes, again, like, just to reiterate, I'm not saying that you have to play this champion without suicides. It's just one of these options that kind of go, look, if you're not interested in running suicides, because funny enough, there are people out there that would run champions without them, then this gives you that option. And yes, you can have processes with masteries to switch between them. For me personally, I'm not into that. I'm just about sticking with one specific type of mastery for a point of interaction if I'm doing certain paths, if I want to use certain champions. I'm not an extensive arena grinder. I do grind it, but I'm only able to do it the weekend, and I don't see a value based on my time, whether or not I go, okay, am I doing 2 hours arena grind? I'm actually going to have to stop because something comes up in my life. And yes, you can switch them on and off, but it's all about being, I'd say, knowing what you're doing and not kind of like flipping between different things all the time. I personally get a lot of enjoyment out of Warlock, especially from a point of view of rotations of damage, utility, and just everything really. If you're looking to add more infections onto the champion to a point of getting regen, I really enjoy doing that. Applying the infections by throwing different kinds of special attacks. SP2 refreshes infections, which I think is great, especially so you got this kind of rotation of things going, okay, right, we'll build up, we'll put these infections on and build up to 3, and then of value from that 3, you're able to gather a lot of regen if you're going to throw an SP3, or you're going to be power draining or degenning, depending if you've got the awakened ability. But still, it's that process of going, this champion can be used for lots of things, especially with those infections, having the ability to suppress healing, which means that this champion is great for the likes of Lifecycle, which is really annoying. I even used the champion a lot when it came to 6.2.3 with Icarus. I'm probably going to use the champion as well for 6.2.2, and I do see some value in some other content, but it's amazing to have one champion that's able to do those 3, but also be of value for a lot of other different bits of content. I've used the champion against Havok of 6.3.3. I've used the champion in a lot of 6.4. I think a lot of the clearing of stuff, the first clear was done with that champion. On a monthly basis, the champion is amazing. It is one of my favorite ones at the moment, and I thought I'd just share with you this kind of like quick little video as to why the champion is so great, and as well why I back the awakened ability, which I know that a lot of people will go, nah, it doesn't need to be awakened. But if you seriously are considering this champion for non-suicide based mastery, so just like normal, you don't even know what suicide masteries are, then it's important to just use this champion in its form without having to kind of like have bleed effects, poison effects. You've got a quadruple immunity champion that is just so fantastic for different areas of the game, whether it's Act 6, whether or not it's monthly event quest, in Cavalier difficulty, it is amazing. And as well, with this month, if you are looking to utilize the Ultron synergy or the robotic synergy, then at least you've got this option of getting a champion that's going to pop up with a buff like a Fury and add more damage. And yes, he's better with suicides. Absolutely, I totally agree. But I love the awakened ability and I really rate him. Now, I don't know if anybody's going to be looking for a guide of how to play the champion. For me personally, how I do this on rotation is to build up to 3 infections by a process of doing a lot of kind of like parrying, kind of allowing the champion to hit into my block from time to time, but building up towards the SP2, especially if I'm building up infections from the charges, which at 20 charges that then goes into an infection, I want to do an SP2 repeatable thing, which allows to reset the infection, so then I can then keep on top of things. If my health is dwindling, I'll then push towards the SP3, throw that, get some regen back. If that is not the case and I use the awakened ability to put degen on, then it's all going to be about going into the block, and if you go into the block, you are going to power drain enemies. So yeah, that is kind of a rinse and repeat there with that, as it then triggers up, boom, with the degen, and then it's doing some more damage. A lot of the times I'm like parry heavy if I want to apply some bleeds to the enemy, just say for whatever reason, I'm just fancying playing it easy, because that sometimes I'm just fancy doing parry heavies, and that could be a thing. If it's stupid and it works, it isn't stupid. So that's something to consider as well if you're thinking about doing that. You can see there, dealing 2,000 damage there from the bleed effect, which is great. And if I want a quick power control with infections on the enemy in order to suppress things like power, then I might throw an SP1 from time to time. But I like that first thing that I said, building up your charges to infections, building up to an SP2. Then it's a case of just riding it out in the block with an armor buff that's helping out immensely. And yeah, so much fun. But yeah, I love Warlock and I can't rate him enough. In any case, thank you very much for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like button, subscribe, and check out some other content located up there, including Rich's Realm, where I post Marvel Realm of Champions content. Look out for next week, where I'm going to be posting up some how to get the game guides, as well as basic strategy guides and other stuff as well. Thanks for watching. See you soon.